Mm, because I'm just in. Oh yeah, the Return of Good Men and Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Here's the thing. I remember when the James Gunn Superman came out, there was this whole distinction, or a lot of people hated on it for the simple reason that James Gunn doesn't understand Superman. They were all trying to compare it into the previous one, which was Zack Snyder, which to me felt a little bit strange for the simple reason that people weren't into that whole thing anyway with regards to Zack Snyder. It's like you can't make the audience happy with regards to the entire thing. But for me, when I saw James Gunn's Superman, I found it awesome. Or it was hope core. That you know what? That was his interpretation. That Superman was meant to be the sign of hope. That Superman was meant to be an example. Because I believe right now we are in the dark era, the dark hero era, where everyone is just focused on their flaws and on what makes them human, which makes for a pretty dark picture, which makes them relatable. But then again, the whole thing feels dark. Don't get me wrong. I thoroughly enjoyed The Boys. It literally pointed to these superheroes as humans. That they have their own. That these superheroes wouldn't think twice about having their own Epstein Island. I know, and be drug addicts or something. And then before that, there was the wait, what was it? The one with the early Justice League, the one with Raven, the one with Robin. What was the name of that show? Hold on. What was the name of that show? Hold on. Uh, Starfire, Beast Boy, and Cyborg. Wait, yeah, Teen Titans. There was this very dark version of Teen Titans that I was watching, whose name I actually forgot. It had what you call it? The actor who played no, not Gior Mormont. What was his name? The other guy, Jorah Mormont. The actor who played Jorah Mormont as Bruce Wayne or slash Batman. But anyways, I believe James Gunn gave us another interpretation. It was basically how a child or how a young fan or well, literally a child would perceive Superman, right? He's not this flawed wounded individual, but literally a source of hope. Because that was the trend in Zack Snyder's Superman, right? He was flawed. I mean, Luke no, what do you call that? His main antagonist, the one with the bald head. What was his name? Uh, they're coming. Lex Luthor, right? He was so obsessed in showing everyone that Superman is nothing but a monster. That Superman is not this perfect being that everyone perceives him to be. But I believe James Gunn got it right, that he was meant to be a source of hope, and he viewed it from a child's perspective, that you have that everything at a certain level, at a certain point, is going to be all right because he's finally here. The song, there's a star. Anyways, why don't we check this out? Check this one out. There's a star. The Return of the Good Men and Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Because guys, if you think about it, like the whole thing about the Game of Thrones is that it's semi grimdark. Anyways, yeah. Yeah.
A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms shocked me. It shocked me how simple it was. It
The door shot was unnecessary.
shocked me how well it was made. It shocked me that it found its way all the way into my TV without being bastardized.
He was a true knight. Different than other men.
It shocked me because apparently it's cool to have men as role models again. Basically, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is the best show I've seen in years, and that's a big call. Last year, my favourite show, by a long way, was Mobland. That was an incredible show.
Mobland. See, again, a very dark take into London's underworld, and he even have Pierce. Is that Pierce Brosnan? I think that's Pierce Brosnan.
With great writing, a great cast, it looked
Hardy.
fantastic, and was a lot of fun. But A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is different. I can't remember the last show I watched that had a true hero. A show that showed that hope was a good thing. A
There we
show
go.
that had a
Oh,
lead
I like
that
it.
lived by a moral code and wasn't made to look like a fool because of it. A show that had a male being a good, strong role model for a boy, and it not just being a side note. It's essential to the story. I couldn't say any of that about Mobland.
That's Pierce Brosnan, right? That's James Bond.
The piss has been taken.
There we go. See, quite dark.
It's a show that you can watch and you don't feel emotionally punished for it. It's not just
Yeah.
impressive or mildly entertaining, it's genuinely uplifting.
I mean, that's the whole point. It's hopecore, right? And you know what, you guys, with everything that's happening around the world right now, maybe, just maybe, we needed a little bit of it.
And with the world we're living in, that feels a bit weird these days. Because for the last decade, fantasy has basically been, here's a broken world full of broken people making broken choices. But
There we go. There we go. Broken world, broken people making broken choices. Right? So that's why I keep comparing this one to James Gunn's Superman. Maybe he's not that broken, maybe he's just, doing his best in this messed up world. And because of that, there's hope.
don't worry, a girl will save the day. Somewhere along the line, Hollywood decided that optimism was cringe and heroism was reserved
Yeah.
for women and the weak, but mostly women. And then out of nowhere, a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms shows up and just ignores all that. No grand reinvention, no genre deconstruction, no smug commentary about why knights are now problematic. It just tells a story.
Yep.
I know, who would have
This
thought?
story.
Am I to be a knight one day, sir? As you are.
The premise is almost
Why not? You're a likely lad.
suspiciously straightforward. We meet Duncan the Tall at absolute rock bottom. His knight is dead. He has no credentials, no banner, no reputation. His armor barely fits, like his dreams that also don't fit. And instead of giving him a tragic backstory montage or secret royal blood twist, the show
Yeah.
just says, Dunk's a decent bloke. Let's see what he gets up to. That's it.
When we win our first tilt, we'll have the loser's armor and horse or his gold.
Yeah, there we go.
Don't be sad then.
He wants
There we go. That was like, the best take on it. He's a decent person trying to do his best. That's it. And you know what? I'm all for it.
to enter a tournament, earn respect, maybe build a future.
shit.
It's
Oh,
such a
man.
modest goal. It'll
I just realized we should have turned this into the finale. Because, oh my god. We should have saved the best for last. We have like several videos to go through. And it's like, oh my god, I can only go downhill from here. Oh, we should have saved the best for last. Oh, because I knew from the title alone, this was going to be uplifting. This was going to be good. So I should have saved it for last.
almost feels rebellious because modern fantasy usually operates on two settings: save the world or burn it all down. Dunk,
Yeah.
our friend here, just wants a shot at life, and the fun part is you want him to succeed, all because
Yes,
he's
that's the whole
good,
point.
not flawless, not brilliant.
You surrounded him, and you know what? Good people or good persons tend to find other good people. They gravitate, goodness towards them. At least, that's supposed to be the lesson.
Just a decent bloke. And as we know, in these creative bankrupt times, that's a revolutionary creative choice. But surprisingly, the show trusts that that'll be enough. They trust the source material, and they trust the audience.
Now that's something. They trusted the source material and they trusted the audience. No agenda. That's it. Trust the audience. Trusted the material. Go for it.
So what should I do?
I don't know.
It doesn't inflate the stakes artificially. It doesn't suddenly pivot into, actually, the fate of the world hangs on this joust. It stays grounded. We get dusty roads, cheap inns, minor lords with oversized egos, villages that Phil lived in. The world and its people aren't constantly on edge. It's just all existing day to day. That perspective shift matters. We've seen this world a number of times from throne rooms and war meetings. Here, we see it from the mud. It's small, personal, focused, which means the writing...
So basically, just people trying to go about their daily lives. Because the whole vibe to me felt like a festival. I don't know if most of you guys have been to a festival, but when I was as a younger man who was busy touching grass, the whole vibe felt like a festival. You get to camp out for a few days. You try and sneak in food and other stuff, so you don't starve to death, or so you don't go broke buying merch, or buying food from the official merchants.
Actually has to carry it, and it does. Sandwiches getting made, horses being trained, drinking, dancing, little jokes between characters.
Bro.
Scenes get to breathe, conversations matter, characters feel like people instead of exposition delivery systems wearing wigs. It turns out if you let audiences sit with two characters for a while, they might actually like them. Dunk's dynamic with Egg is proof of that. One's a walking oak tree with the loyalty of a golden retriever. The other looks like he escaped from a midget monastery and knows a lot more than he's saying. Their relationship isn't built on snark or mutual contempt. It's built on curiosity, friction, and, well, maybe slow trust. Because one...
just downright dudes being bros. That's it. Because if you guys remember Game of Thrones, the original Game of Thrones, and almost everything, it's like there's no organic meeting, or there's no organic chemistry happening between the characters. They're like there because for their ulterior motives. Jon Snow goes to Khaleesi so he could find some weapons. This character goes to that other character, so his dad doesn't kill him or something. But here, it's a bro story. It's a bromance. It's just guys just being guys and being friends.
Is completely trustworthy, the other one not so much. But it all feels very human, which is something that modern fantasy seems weirdly allergic to. This show's not embarrassed by honor. It isn't trying to undermine the idea of courage. Doesn't roll its eyes at bravery. Doesn't treat masculinity like...
Yeah, it doesn't treat masculinity or healthy masculinity. Everything that's related to being masculine is toxic.
A contagious disease. Dunk is allowed to be a man, even when talking to people above his station in life.
There we go.
If I had not fought, you would have had my hand and foot.
This is an over-the-top panto where men overreact to being spoken to. This show allows men to talk to men.
Not
There we
bloody
go.
likely.
So building up to this show, and years of grimdark fatigue, after watching Game of Thrones crash into the...
There we go. Grim dark fatigue. Yep.
cultural ocean and House of the Dragon lean harder into royal misery, people were bracing for more emotional trench warfare. Instead, we got something that's, well, almost old-fashioned. A story about trying to be better than you are. It doesn't come with a smirk or a lecture or meta-commentary. Because, let's be honest, we've had a decade of protagonists who are either miserable, manipulative, or morally grey to the point of invisibility. Here, the stakes are...
Or just, plain psychotic.
Personal, reputation, honour, survival. It's refreshingly grounded. The show moves away from that message that Hollywood loves, that deep down everyone is terrible. Turns out that nuance can also mean that good people struggle. Wild concept, I know. Maybe the biggest takeaway from all this is that maybe viewers are done with fantasy that hates itself, done with stories that feel obligated to dismantle the very archetypes they're built on, done being told that optimism is naive and heroism is outdated. You know,
because why not, right? I mean, all that's happening in the world right now, baby, this is something we need.
Maybe, just maybe.
Because goddammit, people are already shooting at each other outside. Alright, maybe, just maybe, a little bit of hope might work.
Maybe people want adventure again. Not parody, not deconstruction, not nihilistic prestige gloom. Just heroism and honour, wrapped in an adventure.
Has courage deserted the noble houses of Westeros!
A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms delivers exactly that. It's warm without being cheesy, earnest without being stupid, and
Look at
serious
that.
without being suffocating. And the cast has a lot
Dang.
to do with pulling all that off. Everyone, every single one of them is fantastic and the perfect choice for each role, which allows for moments like when Dunk and Egg's father, Maker, are discussing the fallout of the battle and Egg's future. In that scene alone, we get sadness, regret, anger, all within minutes, and all with just slight changes in delivery and expression. And it's all fantastic.
Fuck that, and fuck you! I fought for you. Harding Beesbury, the
we
fucking
go.
apple boy.
And little Egg, my god, Dexter Soul Ansel,
Poor
who's
boy.
playing Egg, is truly impressive. His range puts most adults to shame. I'm not even sure how a child that age understands all the emotion this kid needs to deliver, but he does it every time.
Impudent little rat. What's happened to your hair?
I cut it off, brother. I didn't want to look,
Look like you.
It's just a relief watching creators have the guts to make something that's
There we
sweet,
go.
emotional, and fun. In this show, even the horses have personalities and story arcs. So, is this the turning point? Is this a creative correction? Or
Yes.
is this just a rare project that
I
slipped
hope
through the
so.
modern content machine without being fixed for the modern audience? I wouldn't rush to declare
There's that again. The modern audience. Who is the modern audience? Who is hating on this?
victory just yet, but I'll say this. If this is the direction fantasy starts heading again, grounded stakes, sincere heroes, and
I'm all
character-first
for it.
storytelling, then maybe
I
there's
am
hope for the
all
genre
for
yet.
this.
And these days, that alone feels like a minor miracle. Can they do it again for season 2? I know this robot
hope
will be
so.
watching.
Yeah. Yeah, just look at bros being bros. Alright, anyways, you guys, like it if you do. Subscribe! 7 knows we need it.